Matt Wells and Utah State are gunning for a bowl berth in a 6th consecutive season this fall. Utah State returned 15 starters from a team that went 6-7 a year ago. Here's what you need to know as we count down to kickoff with the Utah State Aggies. Kent Myers is finally the unquestioned starting quarterback in Logan. After splitting time as a freshman and sophomore, he'll have the keys to the offense in 2016. Last season, Myers completed over 60% of his passes and threw 16 touchdowns against just 3 interceptions. He also brings a strong run threat to the position, having ran for 191 yards in a single game in 2015, a school record for a quarterback.
Very confident in his abilities. I think he's been probably validated some to himself and his teammates with winning games as being the starting quarterback over the last couple of years when he has stepped in that role, and he's done a tremendous job. He's done a good job, but got to continue to take steps in the right direction for him in terms of his play, first of all, by production, will lead to better leadership.
Utah State wants to establish the run in 2016, and Devontae Mays looks to be the headliner of the Aggie rushing attack after averaging 5.9 yards per carry last fall, which ranks 7th all-time in school history.
The guy's awesome. He comes in and he works every day. I mean, you don't ever hear him complain. He's always asking questions. He's always trying to figure things out. You know, he's another guy that's speed, power. I mean, you look at him and he's 220 pounds, 230. That's big now for a running back.
Yeah. Ricky Aliifua will help lead a defense that ranked in the top 45 in the nation in 10 statistical categories last season, including sacking the quarterback 27 times. Aliifua will anchor a defensive line which will shoulder a great deal of the responsibility after the Aggies have lost 4 linebackers to the NFL in recent years.
It's hard for any defensive lineman to get to the ball if you're worried about the ball before you're worried about the person that's in front of you that's trying to stop you. And so I try and focus on making sure that I'm dominating my opponent in front of me first. And once I have that, then I can move on to the next step, which is identifying where the ball is at and then getting to the ball and making sure that I'm somewhere around the ball.
Utah State opens up the season with 3 of the first 4 games at home, which includes the Mountain West opener against Air Force. The Aggies then travel to Boise State for a rematch with the Broncos. Last season, Utah State forced 8 turnovers en route to the program's first home win over an Associated Press ranked team since 1991.
By no means are we there, but I think that is somebody that we look at in Boise as a benchmark in this league. They've been very, very consistent for a long time. They have been the team in the division, so to get to the division title, you do have to beat those guys.
I think for the Utah State Aggie football team to have a really good season this year, obviously they need to replace the linebackers they lost to the pros and also a wide receiver. But I think the one thing they really lost last year was their edge in close games, and they had kind of built up a little swagger the last couple of years on that. So they've got to find a way to close out those games, especially road games. And I think that means you got to make all the kick opportunities you have. Field goals have got to be real key in the season. So I think those are the real keys to a good year for the Aggies.
Thanks, Al. Utah State opens up the season on Thursday, September 1st against Weber State. It's a game you can see exclusively right here on the Mountain West Network on Campus Insiders. From the Mountain West Network studio, I'm Jesse Kurtz.